Love it very much. It's in Princeton here, and we have it in Rumson, right in Bruce Springsteen's backyard.
And we are live, folks. Yeah, I have been to Ruth Chris 3 times in my life. And 2 of those 3 times other people pay.
Now you know what it feels like.
And I'm always just like, my God, $10 for a little bowl of mashed potato? Come on.
I think the most expensive place I've ever went was the Spago restaurant in West Hollywood.
Well, Eric K is here, Nice of All, R. Young, Scott is here, and Eric just informed us that even before the chat started, we already got a thumbs down. So.
Oh, did you see my last video? I think I got 10 thumbs down on that one.
It is Eric. It is what it is. I have that there are just a few. It's not like this community is filled of people that hate me.
Right.
Maybe they are, but at least most of them probably don't bother to subscribe and give thumbs down. They just unsub and move on. Okay. But there are still a few that like to subscribe, and they sit here with anticipation every day, waiting for that bell notification that Nick just load a video so he can run over there and push on that button to feel better.
At the end of the day, we still have Amazing Fantasy 15.
Exactly. That's what you can do. Oh, Dr. Manchilla is here.
Hey,
I sent you an invitation, Doc. So if you didn't get it, let me know, and I will resend the invitation. But I did send out the invitation to all 3 people. Yes, Monday night was my 13-year anniversary. In fact, I ate for dinner tonight. I ate the leftover from Monday night. So that doesn't tell you how much food we had, and there was still some fancy steak left over, and I had some fancy Brussels sprout that I paid $12 for a little bowl. And Anthony ate his leftover steak as well.
Does Anthony like Brussels sprouts?
No, God no. Luckily, Anthony he does eat vegetable. He does eat broccoli.
I like broccoli.
Dr. Manchilla said he did not get the invitation, so let me go shoot the invitation real quick. So do you have any question for us?
Yeah, I got some from Errol, our good friend. Okay. He's in Canada. He's at home for the past month, visiting his family. But anyway.
What he's doing? Why is he living in Australia?
Well, that's where his wife lives. That's where his family is. Yeah, he moved to Australia for his wife, and every year he goes back home. Okay. And sees his parents around his birthday. All right, let me get some of his questions. He's got some good ones, really good. He always has good ones, but.
Okay, I send it invitation. Go ahead, ask your question.
Let me see. Let me start at the beginning. Okay. Which top 4 Silver Age Tier 2 books would you recommend a collector to get?
Ooh.
Tier 2.
Question, one has to determine what is Tier 2.
Yeah. Little Reaper's here. Let me let him in before he destroys everybody.
Yep.
Look, James, it's Nick. You've wanted to say Nick. Hi to him. Say hello.
Hey, James. Hello, James. Hello.
Yow.
My little typhoon.
All right, you could go over there. So yeah, what is Tier 2? What do you consider Tier 2?
I would guess Tier 2 would be like Doctor Strange, first appearances, Daredevil. It's hard to separate my biases when we talk about Tier 2 because I think Tier 1 is definitely the big guns, the expensive, the valuable, the one to appreciate the most. Tier 2 tend to be the flatline, slow riser, could be even dead money. But I like Daredevil 1 a lot.
Yeah.
I always have been a fan of Daredevil 1.
And for a while, it's been, I think, would you say maybe a little undervalued for a long period of time?
I think it's never really it barely bumped a little bit with the TV show, barely, and it's flatline. It's just like Doctor Strange, like Strange Tales 110.
Yeah.
That one run up a little bit, like not like crazy. It run up a little bit before the movie, and it have declined ever since. If you look at, I did not look at GPA lately, but I'm pretty sure if you look at Doctor Strange, Strange Tale 110 in the past.
Hey, John.
Hello, John. In the past 2 years, it has basically flatlined. So for me, I would go with. For me, I like Daredevil 1. Always been a fan of that book. If I had to pick another one, I would go with Strange Tales 110, just because I like Doctor Strange. I like Steve Ditko.
He was really good in the movie Infinity War.
Yeah, and I won't recommend those books for people that want good returns or investment. I don't know. When it comes down to like non-tier A, it's really hard to guess what happened to tier 2. I don't know. I own those books just for the love.
Of course you do.
Books. But I wouldn't tell people to like, oh, you should invest in this thing because they're undervalued. Undervalued thing can stay undervalued for many, many years, if not decades. So, how about you, Dr. Vanchilla, John?
I'm sorry. Someone repeat the question. I missed it.
Oh yeah. Which top 4 Silver Age tier 2 books would you recommend a collector to get? So, what tier 2 level Silver Age books would you recommend a collector to add to his or her collection? In your opinion?
Oh,
Errol asked for 4. Errol asked for 4, but I mean,
there's such a broad answer there, because even the tier 2 stuff is, so much of it is absolutely magnificent, and anything that I would add, anything that I would recommend, would have nothing to do with value or potential or investment. It would only have to do with comic book greatness.
That's good.
And I would have to point to like entire little runs of certain eras of certain titles. I don't know if I could say 4 Silver Age tier 2 books. Well, okay, I'll give you one that I would definitely recommend, and this one actually does have a little bit of value to it, and that is my beloved Strange Tales 107. Fantastic, classic friggin' book. I mean, it's a book that makes you happy when you put it in your hand. It just makes you smile. It's just a wonderful thing.
Is that First Wizard, John, or no?
No, that's it's the Submariner and Human Torch battle.
The classic cover of the Submariner rising out of the water.
Okay.
Yeah. I could really just throw a couple of books off the top of my head, like Amazing Spider-Man 66 and 67, the Mysterio.
Yeah,
there
those
you go.
Are great covers.
That's something kind of a tier 2. Now my tier 1 I'm defining as like the big keys of the Silver Age. So, the tier 2 is just that. They're not keys. Steranko's Captain America, 3 issues of Captain America.
Is it me or there's an echo?
I hear an echo.
Yeah, there is an echo. Let me unhook my headphones, and then maybe I might be the cause. Let me check.
Okay.
I hope it's not me.
It's not you. It's Anthony. Blame him.
It's me. It's the stupid headphones I got.
And how about I just say something like Daredevil number 42 through 50. There you go. Yeah. There's my 4 picks for level tier 2 books from the Silver Age. That's tough. That's tough.
Tricky,
Yeah, it is. For me, I don't know if I have 4, but see, I outlined tier 1 the tiers a little differently. But I would think Fantastic Four numbers 4, 5, Silver Surfer 1. I don't know if I have another one. Might be a Daredevil 1 or something like that. I would definitely throw in, like I said, a Silver Surfer 1 in there. I don't think it's quite tier 1. You know, I don't think it's right up there with like a Fantastic Four 1 or Tales to Astonish 27 or anything like that. But maybe even Tales to Astonish, what is it, 44, First Wasp?
You know, when it comes down to tier 1 or tier 2, at least in my opinion, right? Tier 2 would be like almost every appearances of all the villains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because certainly, some people would differ. Some people might even throw, First Goblin as tier 1. But for me, the only villain I would put in tier 1 would be, say, Joker, Doctor Doom. You know, like the two of the greatest villains ever created by both Marvel and DC. But when it comes down for the rest of the villain, they are not tier 1 in my opinion. But like I said, some people would differ. Some people would disagree.
And some people might give you a thumbs down.
Oh, the Truth Squad is gonna correct me.
The Truth Commission's gonna come after you.
I'm misrepresenting the hobby by saying that villains are tier 2. Oh my God, that's not facts. That's not opinions. That's like blasphemy.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. People always have something to say. Have something to say. But whatever.
Well, Knights of Old.
What are we talking about, huh?
I would say, Knights of Old asked the question, if FF5 tier 1 or tier 2, I would put it as tier 1 because to me, once again, it's personal biases because I love Doctor Doom so much that I put him above just about all the other villains. So for me, I can say that FF5 is tier 1, but I'm sure some people would disagree, and that is just fine and dandy.
No, I'm right there with you on that. I think that is a tier 1 book for sure. Yeah.
RB3 is in the house. Michael Andrew is in the house as well. So let's move on to the next question.
Sure thing. Let me get my phone. All right, let's see what we got. Number 2. If you had to choose 2 Spider-Man books from the Silver Age that are still undervalued, what would you think? What do you think they are?
Ooh.
2 Spider-Man books from the Silver Age that you might think are undervalued. What do you think? What do you think they are?
That's tough. That's tough.
But for me, I will pick the easy choice. For me is I always felt Spider-Man 50 is very underrated.
Yeah.
It's a very cheap book still. You know what I mean? And if you look at the price of that book, regardless of how awesome the Kingpin is on the TV show, that book did not get any kind of bump.
I see that, James.
Whatsoever. Of course, some people would chime in and say, "Oh, make a 9.8 copy of Spider-Man 50 go for $3,000." Yes, so as many other books, but that's not the point. The point is, you can buy a 6.0 copy for like $300 or whatever it is. It's cheap. It's
it is. Yeah,
very cheap Spider-Man key, especially in the mid-Silver Age area. I mean, when it comes down to Spider-Man, even like issue 2 to 17, I think issue 17 is very underrated.
The second Green Goblin.
To me, that's the best. To me, that's the best Ditko Goblin cover. So I will put 17 as the other one because to me, I understand 14 is awesome, but I'm not a big fan of 14 as far as the cover.
Yeah.
But I like 17 much more. I think the cover of 17 is a much better cover in my opinion.
What
about you, John?
Anthony?
Oh, me. I'm right up there with Nick when it comes to 50. I do believe it's a little undervalued, you know, and it's also, I mean, like I said, but many times before, I'm not a big Romita fan, but I understand why people like him. That's a classic cover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anybody that would disagree. Now, to have such a classic cover and a pretty cool villain introduction, I'd say it's pretty undervalued for having both of those things, you know?
And you know, it's the Kingpin is one of those very unique villain where he was created for Spider-Man, but he became Daredevil #1 nemesis.
Yeah, yeah.
How often do you see that in the hobby, in this genre, where you see one villain that was created for one hero over time become the nemesis of somebody else? You know, I mean, you don't see that often. You know, you see some crossover of villain used in other title, for sure, but you don't see a crossover of the magnitude where Kingpin was the Kingpin for Daredevil. He was the nemesis. You know, so I can't recall another villain that did that kind of crossover like the Kingpin did.
The power of Frank Miller.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is. A lot of it had to do with Frank Miller, and I think Frank Miller chose wisely because you know the Kingpin is not, you know, he's not superpower. You know, I mean, he's a perfect fit for a street level hero.
Yeah, it's like a little like a local crime lord or something.
Yeah, it's
some to that effect.
I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't think of that. You know what I mean? As much as I love Daredevil Silver Age, no doubt the villain that was created for Daredevil in the 60s was pretty weak.
Yeah.
Except for the
Stilt Man, he was great.
Hey, I like the Stilt Man.
No, seriously, I like him. I mean, I've always liked him. I thought it was a pretty unique looking character.
Let's see how high Daredevil can go. Man without fear, my ass.
No, I agree with you, Nick. I agree with you 100% on that. Your analysis of it's pretty accurate.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I have one.
Well, I do, but you go next. We'll switch on and off. How about
that? Wait. Wait.
Oh, sorry, John.
No, short and sweet. Spider-Man 39. And this one, some people debate when silver and bronze begin and end and all that kind of stuff. But Spider-Man #100. There you go.
Ooh, yeah, I like that one.
There you go. Classic books. Very undervalued, very underrated.
It's a great cover. To me, I would put it up there as the greatest Romita cover.
#100?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I see the argument, yeah.
If it's not in most people's favorite Romita Spider-Mans, I would say it would probably be in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
121 is up there with me.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful cover. I mean, I look at that cover and I just looking for the detail behind. That's what makes it so special. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
It's so well done, so well thought out. It's just a beautiful cover.
Yeah, I know. We know how important 121 is to you, John. That's the infamous "There Goes the Panties" video, which was that was a great unboxing or disrobing, whatever you want to call it.
I actually like 122 more.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. You know, in fact, I don't think I ever load the video now to think about it, but I picked the top 5 Romita Bronze Age Spider-Man, and believe it or not, it's 121, 122, 100, and then what other one did I put in there? I did put 39 in there, but no, that was Silver Age. As far as Bronze, I put that. What's the other two? The other two was 19 and 20. The Hulk.
Oh yeah, the Hulk.
The Hulk. So yeah, that was my 5 Bronze Age I don't think I ever load that video, but from my recollection, I think that's the 5 book that I picked for my top 5. So 121 is in there. It might be number 2 or 3. Okay.
You go next, Nick.
The question I had was regarding pressing. One of the viewer asked me, like, what's the sweet spot for cracking, pressing, cleaning, and resubmit? Like, that's a tough question, because there are people that has success in cracking, resubmitting 9.6 book to get 9.8. Okay, there are situations like that. So I won't be saying that they'll ever crack a 9.6 or 9.4 or 9.2 because you're never going to get a 9.8. It does happen, but the sweet spot is tend to be the middle grade. Like you're not going to press a 2.0 much higher. A 2.0 is going to be 2.0
for a reason.
Yeah, it's 2.0 because either the cover is detached at least at one staple, or have a huge 4 or 5 inch tears and it's just beat to hell, and all the edges and corner, no pressing is gonna straighten out those edges and corner with all the wears and little tears everywhere. So I wouldn't recommend pressing, cleaning a 2 or even a 3. Can it get a bump? Absolutely. Okay, anything is possible. Just like a 9.6 can be a 9.8, but the biggest bump tend to be in the middle grade, where you can get a 4 to a 7.
Oh, wow.
A 5 to an 8, a 4 to a 6. I have seen that many times. I have experienced that many times where I see something from a 5 to even an 8. That's a huge jump, okay? It's not about, I can squeeze a 2.5 to a 3. That's a huge jump if you're talking about Amazing Fantasy 15. Half a point can be $5,000. But for the most part, my recommendation for people about, what the sweet spot, it tend to be the middle grade. But ultimately, it's about your eyes recognizing what flaws can be fixed and what flaws cannot be fixed. Okay, sometimes a book is 6.0 because it is a 6.0. Nothing can help it. I really not a fan of people that make sweeping comment like, just crack it and press it, it'd be higher. No, not everything. You can't apply that to everything. But that's my answer.
No, I think I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. I don't know all that much about, cracking and pressing and reslabbing and all, but I completely understand your logic and reasoning there, Nick.
Yeah, because
makes perfect sense to me.
Like that perfect example is your Spider-Man 121, right? That one can easily go from 7.5 to a 9. I mean, it does happen. There is a sweet spot where the biggest bump can happen, and it tend to be the middle grade, like from 4 to 7. You can have huge jump there, but once you get below a 4 into the 3 and the 2, I'm just like, the only time where you can see a significant bump in really low grade, like when you see like an old book that had like a really bad spine roll. Okay, a skill presser can fix a 3.5 or 4.0 with a spine roll and a lot of flaws and make that into a 5. So that's happened. You're not going to see a book with a bad spine roll in like a 5.0 or higher, but you can fix a 3.0 with a bad spine roll into the mid grade. So, but like I said, ultimately it's about have the skills to recognize what is improvable and what's not, and know how to grade. Okay, if you don't know how to grade, it's pointless to just buy a slab and think that you can press and resubmit that and get a higher grade. That's like the worst thing you can do. Don't just go there and don't do that.
Yeah, that may not work out.
I know a guy that submit a book, bought a slab, crack it, and submit it 3 times and get lower grade and lower grade and lower grade.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's...
he almost lost his mind because he paid so much money for the first grade. I think it started out as a 9.2, and then it went to a 9.0, and then it went to an 8.5 on a major key. So he's just like, you know, so it's crazy. You know, like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, ask a professional. Speaking of professional, did you guys hear about CBCS and the long delay?
No.
Ooh, my God. Well, with the big move, the big chapters in the last couple of weeks, it's been the long delay with CBCS. Some people submit their book as late as the end of March, early April, and they still have not got the book back. Okay, 4 months. 4 months. I'm like,
oh, thank you.
It's painful to, you know, I spent a little time over the CBCS forum, and just to read the comments on, like, some people like, oh, I submit the book the first week of May. I'm like, it's mid-August. Holy crap. That's insane. But they're so busy. What can you say? You know, it says a lot about the market, where as slow and behind as they are being flooded with books, and they are just being buried. You know, I mean, the move to Dallas was pretty tough. From what I understand, not everyone went to Texas. I think they lost 1 or 2 graders. And so that I think at least one, maybe just 1 graders, but from what I heard, they did lose a few people.
No.
But it's tough. I would not want the worst thing about grading companies, for all of you that maybe not aware. Unlike most businesses, if you order something, if you buy something and it's not available, you don't have to pay yet, right? If I buy something from Amazon and they tell me that it's out of stock or whatever it is, I have to wait. They don't charge me until the thing is shipped ready. The way CGC and CBCS does it, they charge you up front. So
that's right.
They took your money already. You're just gonna have to suck it up and sit there and wait 5 months. That's just crazy. It's just crazy to send someone money in your book and wait 4 months for it. That has always been my biggest gripe with both. Yes. But what can you do? You know, if people, obviously a lot of people don't care. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so busy.
That's true. That's true.
Sure, there are a few people upset and complain about how slow things are, but like I said, obviously not enough people give a damn, because they are still sending books in and they are still so busy, if not busier. So, you know.
Well, hey, you know, I mean, you should go into it knowing that this can happen. Like, you know, you're not going to be getting them for a while. And
well, that's how some people, they say, oh, I'm sending my book in now, and I will not see my slab until 2019.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I remember I one time sent a book into CBCS in around April, and I didn't get it back till about a little after Halloween. That's just the way it is. You know, if you're not really ready to wait that long, don't get it slabbed.
That's the thing that I think, you know, obviously they are busy because a lot of people are paying the higher fee for the faster tier. Right? So all the slower tier are getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because they already have your money. They don't care. They don't need to service you. They already get your money, sucker. But that's the business model they're in. It's just like, we get the money up front without any promises, and you're just gonna have to suck it up. So how's Doc, now that you joined us for the first time in a few weeks, so what's going on with the house? All the modeling, remodeling, fixing?
Well, for the time being, anyway, I thought I might do a few more things this summer, but I'm too old and lazy now, and you know, I'm like my emotions and the way they're like a roller coaster, man. So it all depends on how I'm feeling, right? Like Bob Dylan said, it depends on how I'm feeling. And right now, I just don't feel like it. And luckily, I'm in a place in my life that I can say that I don't feel like it, and I don't. So no, I haven't done anything else with the house.
Okay. Well, I feel you because I can say that now that I'm 50, I will be 52 in a few months. I just don't have the same drive or energy on anything. Well, on most things.
Yeah, age does play a role because when I was say 30, I would have never pictured myself the way I am now, so lackadaisical and I put things off, where I never used to procrastinate about anything. I was always right on top. If somebody would have told me when I was 54 years old, I would just want to sleep, for 12 hours a day or
you become a cat.
Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad analogy, Anthony. I do have days where I can just sit and stare into space, and be as happy as a damn clown,
Yeah.
So, but again, yeah, Nick, age has a lot to do with it. Age will change people in ways that you don't think,
Yeah, I would not. If you asked me 20 years ago when I was in my early 30s, what I would be like in 20 years, I would never guess where I am today.
Hey, fucking A, bro.
Yeah, it's night and day. My view on life, relationship, parents, children, comic books, everything have become so different compared to what it was 20 years ago.
I mean, at least you guys, you're in your early 50s and you've just gotten to this stage. I just turned 40 and I'm already at that stage. So I can only imagine what I'm going to be like when I'm 50.
Oh.
If I don't want to mow the lawn right now.
Wait until you have little Sissy next to Little Reaper.
I'm hoping that she'll calm him down, or she'll give him something to do.
Oh, I look forward for you to have a second child.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully she won't be as crazy as this one.
I offer this advice, Anthony. Teach James how to cut the grass at a very young age.
I've been trying to teach him now.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. Good for you, man. It's a useful tool. That bar up there over his head. Push as far as you can, son. Actually,
just don't put your finger in the blade. No, get your finger out of there. He's all right.
Just set the bar down lower so it shifts the weight, and he'll be able to push that thing. He's
That's
what, 4 now, right?
No, he's going to be 3 next month.
Oh, I'm wishful thinking on my behalf for you.
He can cut the grass. He's old enough. He can do it.
He can do it. He already vacuums, because I'm not going to do it.
My son is just 11 this year, and for the first time, he's doing dishes.
Okay. All right.
I should get Little Reaper started on those.
Starting this past summer, he was to do dishes once a week and do his own laundry. Put it in, get it out of the dryer, so no more us doing his laundry.
Damn, Nick. You go.
Yeah.
You are the man.
I didn't start doing my laundry until I was 16.
Yeah, so with Anthony, I'm like, I don't care if you're not tall enough to do the dishes or put the stuff in the laundry. We got a little stool for you. You stand on it and you do it. Okay? Yeah, I run the house that way. There's no 11 years old. No, you want to play PS4? You do the dishes.
That's good though. I think that's good.
No,
I'm gonna have to adopt that model maybe when James is a little younger.
Yeah, well, like I said, Anthony does not mind. He has not complained since the summer when he started to do that every week, and he's great. My son is awesome. He's just like, okay, if that's what you want me to do, I will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I should say that to you. Hey, James, you want to keep chewing on that furniture? Do the dishes.
Speaking of Silver Age book, I did go to the vault this morning.
Uh-oh.
I put some stuff away, and I put some stuff. None of this stuff is new. It's just stuff that I put in the vault, and then I decided to take it out for some loving. I'm sure you all seen this before.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, speak of the devil with Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Beautiful copies.
Yeah, so it's been a while. The last time I saw these two books was maybe 6 months ago. So
okay.
it's time to take them out. Like, I would say most of the stuff in the vault get to come home with me every 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So now it's that Dr. Doom. What is that? A 5?
It's about a 5.
Yeah.
It could be high, but because there's I think a little bit too much Marvel chipping.
Okay.
I would say at least a 5. It could be higher, but there is no major crease. Okay, there's no.
It's a gorgeous copy.
Yeah, the only thing wrong is you see Marvel chipping all the way up and down. And my FF, I like it because it's nice and bright and white.
Mm.
It's not yellow and tan. So.
Okay, it's a good look for you, Nick.
Yeah. Would this get me a few thumbs down?
Oh, come on. It'll get you 2 thumbs down.
How dare you put the book next to your face? The oil in your face can destroy the books. Yes.
Oh, man.
I also pick out a few more books from the vault to slap because I'm going to see Paul. I have a batch ready last week, but I postponed picking it up because I didn't have time. And then I found out today that another 3 batch are getting graded right now.
Oh, okay.
So I might wait until next week and pick up all 4 batches. So
did anybody else? Did anybody do any buying this week?
Me, I bought a few things. Nothing special. I got something pretty cool which I can show you. It's nothing special. It's an art book by John Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that John Byrne did How to Draw Comic Book.
Oh, I didn't need it. I.
So I bought it for like $6.
It rings a bell with me for some reason, but
yeah. So if you want to hang on, I can grab it because I paid $6 for it. So it's not like it's a big item, but for a John Byrne fan like I am, I thought it was a cool oddity. So let me go grab it. Okay.
yeah.
I'll go right ahead. Yeah, absolutely. So, John, you doing any buying? Or are you officially done?
This week, I bought some dog food. Bought a pizza.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Is that a slick, funny way to avoid that question?
Yes, I would say yes. I'd say it's witty.
Hey, in all truthfulness, I don't know if I'll ever be done.
Yeah.
Never buy another book. But I am getting that feeling again that I had 3 or 4 years ago when I really liquidated a lot of books and really stopped collecting.
It comes and goes with you, though, doesn't it?
It does. Again, that's something Nick and I touched on just a few minutes ago. Things happen to you in age that you don't expect. But anyway, yeah, what you got?
There we go. There it is.
How to Draw Comics comic. This came out in 1985. If anybody knows something about this, let me know, because if you read this, apparently it was supposed to be a series. Okay, like John Byrne planned to put out like a monthly or quarterly book. But I never see issue 2. But inside is some gorgeous sketches, but it's pretty cool because he showed you how to do anatomy.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of cool sketches. I love this Hulk. Sketches right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
John Byrne right there. But there's a lot lot of, you know, I mean, I just love the way John Byrne drew. Look at that. Look at that. That's, you know, to me, John Byrne and Gil Kane, the most beautiful muscular. Look at that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Gil Kane is classic there too, but there's a lot of beautiful drawing, you know, like in here. Like, look at that. Lizard sketch.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, I bought it for $6. It came out in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I could have sworn, like when you said that, a little bell went off in the back of my memories, and it may have been something I read about in the buyer's guide at the time or something.
Yeah, he even break down like the proportion, like, you know, on how to draw people, like, you know, in grid. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I was, of course, the best one.
There you go.
So yeah, if you're a John Byrne fan, I believe there is still another copy on eBay right now, and I can guarantee you it's not $6. So, yes, I
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool though, Nick. Yeah, that's really neat.
Like I said, you know, I would like to know more, like what happened. Like maybe this didn't sell well enough, and they never did issue 2. But there was promises to have more issues and more sketches and more instruction. But it's pretty cool because, you know, like I said, he go into some detail like how to draw perspective, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's well worth the $6.
And that came out what, 85? You said?
Yep, it was published in summer of 1985.
Ooh, fabulous time in my life.
I graduated.
I remember.
Holy shit.
It's my year of graduation. I graduate May of 1985.
Oh,
I remember 85, but I was only 7.
I was.
But I do remember it.
But 1985?
Oh man. Yeah, 1985.
Want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
I never drink all through. The first time I taste beer was in Vietnam when I was like 10 years old. My dad, we had like one of those party at home with beer. Maybe I was maybe 9, maybe, but there was a bunch of beer, and my dad said, "You want to taste?" So I said, "Sure." And I taste. I take a sip of a cold beer that my dad had. I thought it was disgusting. It was bitter. It was like poison. So I did not drink it all through, you know, high school. And my senior year, 1985. One of my friends invited me to. He didn't invite. Well, the person that threw the graduation birthday did not invite me. I was a nobody in high school, but my friend that got invited me. So I'm like, you can come along, Nick. You're all right. So I went there and I drank, not beer because I still thought beer was disgusting. And I drank like, you know, rum and Coke.
Yeah.
And I must have had like maybe 2 or 3. And and I remember stumbling home. I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? This what drunk? I'm like fumbling and stumbling and falling down the steps and crawling up to my bedroom, and the ceiling was spinning. I'm just like, what is going on? That was my first experience of being drunk, and I remember laying in the bed and just like, why is the ceiling spinning? Why is my dizzy? I'm like,
I remember my first experience, something similar. I had never really drank anything before, and my friend said, "Here, try this. You'll like it. It's sweet." I said, "Oh, what is it? Just try it." I drank it. It's like, "Oh, it's not bad." I said, "What is this?" He said, "It's a Long Island iced tea."
Oh.
And I proceeded to drink the rest of it. Then I started feeling the way, mind you, I had an empty stomach. And I started seeing the same things you saw after you got drunk. I was like, oh my God. And I'll tell you, boy, things look a lot better when you're drunk. But you hear that all the time. You hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's true. Let's just say there was somebody there that But man, things look so much better.
Oh, Anthony! Oh my goodness,
Much better. But anyway, but you know, I usually stayed away from this stuff for years because I noticed whenever I would drink a little, I get a little nasty.
Oh, really?
I'm not the happy drunk. I get kind of nasty, so I was like, okay, let me not do this.
The Reaper got the beer goggle going.
Oh, I did. You know, she used to be called Stoneface for a reason. So I was like, whoa, suddenly. But yeah.
Maurice just bought the other copy for $20.
Oh.
Oh.
He just buy it now? So did he go on eBay and get it?
Well, you know, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw this thing pop up for $6. I'm just like, $6? My God.
It was a buy it now, Nick? It was a buy it now, or it was just an auction?
Actually, it was an auction. It was a buy it now. It was one of the like auction starting bid, $6. Buy it now, $9. Nobody bid on it. I was the only one that bid on it at the end for $6.
I love those type of winnings.
I know. Beer, Doc. What's your beer of choice?
Yeah, what's your beer of choice, John?
I would have to say Yingling Lager.
Ooh, Yingling.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, that's as good as beer gets. I've never been much of a drinker anyway, and I don't even like beer all that much. But any kind of lager, really. But yes, Yingling. I would say Yingling Lager would be my beer of choice.
For those that are not aware, just a quick tip. Tonight is the start of the Comic Link auction.
Yeah.
Okay, so
how long is the auction supposed to be?
Well, it's starting at 8. I think the auction won't close until next week. Okay. But tonight is the beginning opening bid. Open for the auction. There are 3 or 4 Amazing Fantasy 15. So go to town. Yes, there's a half dozen Hulk 181. There's all kind of goodies there, original art, all kind of stunning things. It's a big auction, so even a Wonder Woman 1.
Oh wow! Oh nice.
So yes, for those that are not aware.
Yeah, DS Comics made a video where he was talking about that was coming up. A lot of pre-code horror.
Yes, I encourage him to do more of those type of video, because when I first did the recap 3 years ago, roughly, I remember, you know, a few people commented that, oh, they wish they thought of the idea. And I'm just like, you can still do it. It's just like there's all kind of things that you can do. I mean, my recap is literally 10 to 15 minutes of about 12 to 20 books. There are literally over 1,000 listings. You can pick out modern. You can do preview. I mean, I brought out the point of like doing a preview instead of like a recap. You can do the same thing. It's so many things. I'm just like, I don't monopolize any ideas. You know, it's just like, if you want to do it, go for it. You know, so I encourage him to go and do more recaps of not just the Comic Link, but like Heritage, Comic Connect. I think a lot of people would like to see those things, because hopefully when you do that and you do a good job of picking the highlight and the good stuff, it's summarizing for people. You know, a lot of people don't want to sit there and go through 500 listings to see what's cool. But if you can summarize into a 10-minute video and show 25 cool things, I think people would love to see it.
Yeah, it got me interested. I mean, I'm not going to go for any of that stuff, but I enjoyed seeing what was available. I think that's great.
Oh God, that video was awesome! Wow, just that little video he made of books that he was going to keep his eye on. That was a fabulous little video.
Yeah, you know, with Golden Age, I don't buy a lot of books because it's so many. It's more than I can handle. I try to limit to just like maybe Batman and detective and maybe some timely. But there are a lot of pre-code horror that are just fantastic. You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of pre-code horror that's out there that I never even knew existed.
Yeah.
Oh, me neither. You know.
I've always was EC. But then when I started seeing this other stuff like horrific and other things that I can't even remember off the top of my head, I'm like, whoa, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Black Cat.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, if we have unlimited funds, sure, who wouldn't want those things? They are cool. They are super duper cool, and there are always a market for those. I mean, if you follow the CGC forum, no doubt, whenever those golden age horror come up, they sold real quick. They are a big market for them. I mean, they're not like huge, expensive book. You're not talking about like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 kind of book, but they could easily be $1,000, $1,500, kind of like low grade to mid grade. I mean, they are definitely not in the high grade area. Those books are not. They were created and enjoyed by people before. This is what's called collectible. So a lot of golden age books are pretty much low grade to mid grade at best, unless you're a freak of nature and like the church guy and decide to buy everything off the stand and put it in the closet.
Wouldn't that be something if we one day saw a big pre-code horror collection, like something like the Mile High collection, come out with these like stupendous like 9.6 and 9.8 pre-code horrors? Wouldn't that just blow your mind? Oh my goodness.
Speaking of that, there was another question that I can ask. It's about whether this is the best of time to be a seller, because it's a baby boom. This is the age of liquidating. Is this the best of time to sell? It's a tough question because the demographic of these hobbies has changed a lot. 10 years ago, when I returned to the hobby, I heard many comments that, oh, this is a time to sell because the people in the 50s and 60s are dumping and leaving and dying and all that stuff. And it's not going to be enough money around to suck up, to absorb the flood. And guess what? They're wrong. A lot of people that predict the doom and gloom 10 years ago when I first returned to the hobby had been wrong, dead wrong. Because seems like everything has doubled over the past 10 years. So, I wouldn't say that, okay, this is the best of time to sell, okay? Even though I'm only 52, I don't plan to liquidate the 3,000 books I have still. But I don't think the best is behind us. But that's just my take. I don't have the answer for that. I don't really know if, I'm sure you both have heard of the baby boomer generation, all that stuff about, how the hobby is going to change and potentially the market will be flooded with all these collections. And I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I think there's still a lot of people holding on to their books, and they're going to hold on to them for a while because of the way things are right now. Like you said, the way things have just doubled. I think people are just going to try to ride that wave for as long as they can, try to get the most out of their books if one day they do intend to sell. So that's a hard question to answer, like you said. I don't know. And you were right. They were dead wrong 10 years ago.
I mean,
if you sold a Tales to Astonish 39 10 years ago, and you're still able today, you might be kicking yourself in the head if you had a nice grade of it.
I mean, what skewed the market also was, for those around 2008, 2009, 2010, there was 3 or 4 pedigree in the market. Okay, that's like the most in like the short span. You had the Savannah, you had the there was Savannah, and then there was Twin City, and then there was 2 other ones, but there was like 4 pedigree that slammed the hobby in a 3-year span. And everyone was saying, "Oh, here come the flood," because as we predicted, the people in the 60s are dying off, are blowing out their collection. And guess what? For the next 8 years, since 2010 to now, we had none. there is no pedigree or new pedigree that flood the market, right? Can anybody name a new pedigree that hit the market in the last 6 years?
I couldn't.
Yeah, but from 2008 to 2010, you had 4. So it kind of get the discussion rolling, like, oh, here come the flood. Well, the flood didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And to be honest, if the hobby is on the downswing, I still will keep a lot of my books.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about, I was never into this hobby for like, I want to cash out at the top. So it's not important for me to be able to, sure, I sell stuff here and there all the time, but it's not like I need to cash out at the top.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Nick. I have books that I'm just very happy to have. And sure, there are some books I get rid of. There are some books that I purchase to sell to get something better. But I'm in no rush. I'll do it when I can. I'll do it when I feel it's right. But nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me any. I'm in this hobby since I was a little boy because I love it. And
late 60s, right, John? You came into this late 60s, right?
Yeah, I my parents would give me comic books even before I could read. So they've been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, and I have my books because I love them, not because I'm expecting to like Nick said to cash out at the top someday. That's never even entered the equation for me ever.
Yeah.
So,
there are many things that I sold that had went much higher. Okay, and one of the things that I advise those that always ask me that question, like, how do you deal with don't feel regrets about selling something? And I said, if you make money, if you make any profit of anything that you sell, be happy with it. Don't worry about like I could have made 10 times more or whatever it is. I don't approach life dwelling on coulda, shoulda. Once it's past, it's past. So my advice is, don't worry about it. If you cash out and make money, it's all good. And
I agree.
You can't. The thing is, if everyone thinks that the books were always going to go up, there won't be any back issue. Trust me, if the dealer knows that an Amazing Fantasy 15 had tripled in value over the past 10 years, you think any of them would sell anything 10 years ago? It is what it is. Nobody knows. Everybody needs to cash out to put food on the table or to pay the rent or to pay house payment or whatever. You sell to use the money for something else. So it's nothing wrong with that. It's almost 8 o'clock, so it's time to go.
I'm going to say, just in a nutshell, that's the way I've really collected, Nick, for the better part of half a century now. I was always something of a wheeler and dealer. So if I got books and sold them down the road or traded them down the road, it was always just for something else,
Yeah.
I never had thoughts like investment or how I'm going to put this book away for 20 years and I'll see what it's worth. And none of that stuff ever entered my mind. So I was just always been a wheeler dealer. Stuff comes and goes with me, and that's nothing new with me. So,
Batcave Comics said that his daughter tuition is $160K. Holy cow! What may we ask? What is her major?
I teach at a college.
That sounds like pre-med. That sounds like pre-med at some fancy school.
Sadly, Nick, that seems to be the price of tuition on many campuses that are just not pre-med.
Oh.
The tuition's getting pretty crazy all over.
Batcave said that fortunately his daughter got a scholarship for softball and he doesn't have to pay $160K.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. It pays to be good at sports.
It pays to be good at sport, or it pays to be good at school. I can tell you, my niece up in Boston, she busted her butt studying. Okay, her mom, my sister, drilled into her. She did all
Yeah.
kinds of extra things. She was, gymnastic this and gymnastic that, compete this, straight A's, perfect score, SAT, you name it. She did all that. And you know what that translates into?
Academic scholarship.
A free ride to NYU.
Good for her.
$55K a year. Okay, so I call my sister. That's $220,000 in your pocket. Congratulations. Be proud. Be proud. Be very proud. That was well worth the 15 years of drilling into her.
No, yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. You have to start them at an early age.
Yeah, NYU. I was proud. I'm just like, holy cow. I'm like, dang, that's impressive.
It is.
It's worth it.
I have an NYU story. It's a little crappy story, but before we go,
Yeah.
When I was going to college, I had a friend that applied to NYU Film School. Now, one of the things that you had to do in order to apply to the film school is you had to make a short film. And he asked me to be in this film. I played 4 roles. I played the role of the abusive drug addict husband, the evil professor, a street bum, and death. And we filmed it at college and everything, and he got into NYU Film School.
Oh.
I still have the copy that he made me. He even signed it for me. But it was fun. It was really fun. We filmed all over, and seeing me, my friend, she tried to make me look like a gangbanger and gave me some facial makeup and all that stuff. And for the death thing, it was really cool. It was a kind of an artsy fartsy type film. It was really about his life, and it got a little personal and all that stuff. But he got in, and every time NYU is mentioned, I always think of my friend and that film that we made over a course of several days at different locations at different times of the day. I still have to dig it out and watch it again. It's pretty good to watch.
That's
many years old.
Well, Comic Bueller is here. And he's from Oregon, and he's know where I came from, Oregon State University, the Beaver. Yes, that's what we were, the Beaver. And I had to say that I'm the dumb one in the family because I went to college with 0 scholarship.
I think you made out pretty well, though, Nick.
Yeah, I did okay, but my sibling did well. Both of my older siblings went to school full ride scholarship. Okay, so I'm the one that went to a state school with low SAT score.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If you go to a state school, nothing wrong with that at all.
No, hey, I turned out okay. It's just that I did hear my share of you are going to amount to nothing from my older sibling for those years. You score only 1,000 on your SAT. I'm just like, I didn't try.
Hey, look, I didn't even take my SATs, and I teach at a college now. So
yeah, it's
SATs.
It's funny because before we go real quick, I had very few friends. This is a true story. I had very few friends in high school. In fact, I had one. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the one that you were
My one friend didn't do very well in high school, and he can only go to one school. His grade and SAT basically limit him to very little choices. So I applied to the same school that he applied to, and I end up going to that school. But even though I got accepted to 3 other better schools with scholarship that I turned down to be with my only friend. So that was a true story. Why I went to that school, because my only friend in high school got accepted to that one school, and I decided to go with him and be his roommate for 2 years. Hey, it turns out okay, but that's the reason. People's like, why did you go to that school? Why did you go to the other 2 schools to give you a scholarship? Well, I was loyal to my best friend. And that was it. So it's time to go. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully Patrick will join us next week because I think he moved yesterday. I think yesterday was a big move where the mover will come and take all his stuff from one house to the other one. So I'm sure he's busy unpacking today.
Yeah.
No doubt.
even next week, I can't imagine him being ready next week because he needs to make his man cave and all that stuff, and mess.
I got to straighten out this man cave. With Little Reaper in it was about a half hour ago. It looks like a tornado hit the place.
But anyhow, thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
And until next week, adios muchacho.
See y'all.